What's up, dudes and dudettes? It's Connor with Hound Dog Motorsports, and today I got the Honda chopper jacked up on jack stands because we're gonna replace the sprockets and the chain to get this thing highway ready. I wanna start riding this thing to work, you know, as the temperatures start to fall, stuff like that. I realize I haven't gotten a lot of riding time in on this thing, so no more bullshit. We're gonna get right on into it. So the first thing I gotta do is take off the back wheel. Probably easier said than done, as you guys have seen from my last video. I don't have the greatest time taking this thing off, so, you know, there's really no easy way to do it besides just doing it, so I'ma just do it, you know, just like Nike. All right, first order of business, obviously, is to probably remove these. Say probably like I haven't done this a billion times before. Back that sucker off. Go to the other side, do the same thing. Get a socket that fits. That's probably like a 23 or something. 28 is gonna be way too big. Let's try a 24. 24 is right on the money. Now, I'm gonna get something to put all this on so I don't lose it. All right, got that on there. Got that on there. That whole shebang is being loved up on. Taking this off, letting that hang, which isn't the greatest idea, but give me a better idea and I'll do it. Now it's time to hammer that out. So what I'm gonna do here this time, unlike last time, is put the nut on like so, and then hit it with the brass hammer. There we go. And then slide the pin out the back. Kind of twisting it a little bit as I pull it. There we go. And then of course, you gotta remove the brake stuff. The brake stuff being that thing right here. You can just pull it out. That is a 12. She's coming off, boys.
Pause.
Fuck. All right, she's off. Still gotta do this one down here. I believe I need a 12, 13, or 14 on the back side. It is in fact a 13. That is off. Now, it's gonna roll straight out, just like that, boyos. So I actually have a cutting wheel already on my grinder. I'm just gonna use that. Now it doesn't, when you do this, it doesn't have to be the master link. You can cut any link. Boom, just like that, nothing broke, and it popped right on off. And then you just pull it out. The number one thing you want to do when you get a new chain is to lay it out like this. Make sure it's completely flat, and take your new chain and line it up and make sure it's straight. You can count the links. I don't care to do that. I do not care that much because if it's too long, I'll end up cutting a section out. But what you can do is just lay it side by side, stretch it out, and if it matches up, it matches up. So here I have my Gatorade, obviously my Harbor Freight knife because I can't find my Benchmade, and the new chain. This thing is gold, supposedly, and I'm excited to see it. Matter of fact, the box was already popped open, thanks Amazon. Seems like I got 3 sets of master links here, which are the individual links that you'll find. Those are known as master links. And I got the main links right here, the main chain. Let's go line this up. So how I line it up is link to link. This allows you to see if it's been stretched at all. Also allows you to see if there's a size difference or anything. So this chain has been stretched a little bit, which is unsurprising. And it's a little bit, how do I say it? Shorter. Not understanding how it's shorter because this is a 120 from what I believe. I don't know what stock is, but man, this is a little short, but I don't think we'll have a problem with that since I am lowered, which does require a shorter link chain. So yeah, let's go ahead and step by step walk it on and throw this on the bike. But first, we actually have to, I missed a step. We have to throw the front sprocket on and the rear sprocket. The rear sprocket, I'm still waiting on delivery from Amazon. It should be here any minute now. I'm waiting for that, oh, it's 6 steps away notification. But in the meantime, what we can do is throw on the front sprocket, so we're just gonna go ahead and do that. All right, removing the front sprocket should not be that difficult. I have not watched any YouTube videos on how to do any of this. I'm just winging it from my experience of being a basic mechanic, you know what I mean? A little bit of an advanced mechanic if you want to throw that in there with the BMWs or any other car like Subaru, Chevys, but that's besides the fact, big dogs. All right, so it looks like the first thing I need to do is remove that to access the sprocket set that's behind here. Behind here is a 5mm, a little 5 mic if you may, and we are almost certain that it's just this covering up the sprocket. I don't know. Like I said, this is my first time doing it, putting that in the little tray and see what else is holding this on. So after some moving around, this is a retaining clip. It's gonna be back behind this right here. Let me show you guys a little bit better. This right here is gonna have a retaining clip on it that sits just like so. Just like that. You need to make sure you pull that off because it is mounted into this rubber grommet. Next step is to remove the sprocket, which is extremely loose. Wow, that is crazy. Pulling that off. Getting a 10 mic on there. Jesus. Trying to take my glove off with it. Putting these on. These are 10mm. Pulling this off. Walking this locking clip thing off. And then the sprocket should just pull out. There we go. And that sprocket is out. Get y'all in for a closer view. Pretty dirty back behind here, but nothing too important. You can see my fresh oil change from last year that needs to be redone, but let's get the new sprocket on there now. Here I have the new front sprocket, and looking at the old sprocket, the old sprocket seems to be pretty healthy. No significant signs of wear, no blunted spikes or anything, whatever you want to call those, blunted teeth. I don't know why that was so hard to say. This one seems to be a little lighter. It is a stock sprocket. So in the rear, I ended up going, I think 37 or 38, something like that. And that is to, you know, allow for better highway speeds. But we'll see about that. So I'm actually gonna put it into gear. There we go. Putting it into gear prevents it from rotating. And of course you want the raised face side on the outside. You could lube it. I'm not lubing it. I don't see a reason to. And then you want to take your locking collar, which is just this, and throw it on there. So getting this on is very particular. You need to slide it past the first rung of teeth, and then you need to rotate it in between the teeth in order to line it up properly, and then you cinch it down once the holes line up like they are there. What that does is it probably allows for spring pressure to be put onto the assembly itself, and it makes it a little bit easier to retain that assembly. Boom. And it pulls it out a little bit, which I'm fine with. Doing 2 Ugga-Duggas per. That walks just as much, but I'm fine with it. Sick. So this is the old one, that's the new one, that's done. Now we can work on the back sprocket. So the back sprocket is even easier, believe it or not, guys. The back sprocket involves just pulling the rear off with these 17, these are 17 millimeter nuts. Just like so, and it pops off just like that. Now, of course, you want to examine your teeth. Here I have some shiny teeth that do have a little bit of wear on them, but it's not that bad. I'm going to see, and looking at this, you can see that this is a 44 tooth rear sprocket, indicated by that number 44 right there. Let's see if I can get you guys in and focused. Not sure if you can see it, but it says JTR1332-44, which means this is a JT sprocket. That is super cool because that means at some point this bike was taken care of and they put the right sprockets on here, the right brand. And yeah, so I'm tossing that to the side and waiting on the new one to come in. It has arrived 4 hours later. Installing the rear sprocket is just the reverse of removal. Jesus. Just so you guys know, there's probably a torque spec for these, but I only followed the only torque spec that I respect is Ugga-Duggas. Ugga-Dugga it in. This is the fun part, putting the wheel back on. Putting this wheel back on ain't gonna be easy. Pretty sure I could put this back on before putting the chain on, but who knows? I surely don't. But we're about to find out. One, you want to make sure your brake goes on the same way. The spacer in, fuck. Get it on backwards again. God, putting this thing together is my worst enemy. Shit. Now I go to the other side. Remember this spacer? You have the raised lip and you should have a smooth side. That sits inside of the hub. Very essential that you crush your ankle while doing this. Pull the axle back. It's hard to show you guys on the other side, but on the other side, you want to make sure that this is in all the way, otherwise the axle will not slide through all the way. Like right now, I have partial threads exposed. It's supposed to be like this. Now, when I do this, I'm actually going to use a torque spec because I do not want to risk that. And then, of course, you need to leave it loose enough so you can adjust it for the new chain. Now for the fun part, which is running the new chain all the way through. Pulling her in, making sure she goes around the front sprocket with no problems. There you go, verified that it's in neutral. Wheeling her back around, making sure she doesn't spin. And then I always like to bring the master link to the top. Right about there, around the 1 o'clock position, which is right here. Now this angle does make it a little awkward to record, so I'm sorry if I don't get you guys the best angle. Best angle. Here you have your O-rings. You wanna make sure they sit inside. And then you wanna slide that in without dropping them, like so. Then you wanna take your second set of O-rings and put it over. This one was missing one in the kit, but that's whatever. Then you want to put your master link over that. It does help if the O-rings sit over the interior lip. Pliers also help, so I'll go get some of those here in a second. See if I can get away with manhandling them. You want to take this, you want to take the the outer pin like that, press it in, and push it forward. First, let me go get some pliers for that. Just like that. Now, I always like to push the master link back and make sure I hear those 2 clicks, which is the master link settling on the chain. Now we just have to tighten up the chain. Just take the appropriate socket, which I believe is 14, and I am correct, and get these even and tight on both sides. So what you see me do on this side, you want to do on the other side. This chain is too long, and the reason why I say that is if you guys see all that slack right there and the chain is maxed out, the tensioner is maxed out, I'm gonna have to take this chain off and shorten it. I'm not gonna give you guys a how-to on that. It's just gonna be a quick, you know, time-lapse video of just me taking an angle grinder to it and making it slightly shorter. First accessory I have to get back on is the front sprocket cover. I was debating on whether I wanted to put this back on or not. I've decided I do. So here we are. Now you want to take your little cotter pin, put it back on. That is back on. Chain is back on. Everything is looking good. Now we have to go over to the other side and do the brake stuff. Back here is pretty simple. You want to put your assembly back on the way you had it. I believe I had it set at that angle. Only one way to find out. The last step, of which I can't remember. Oh, spin the bike. With it on jack stands, I believe that I can freely spin this thing. I'm looking to make sure that axle is not walking or wobbling at all. You don't want that. You want to make sure that it's in a straight line so that you can see that the angle, the axle is even. And also let the bike die on you, I guess. The next step is you want to lubricate your chain. They provide me lube in this kit. I have to cut the tip off, but it's pretty straightforward with that too. If you're riding motorcycles, you should have some chain lube. If not, thankfully this kit comes with it. So this is pretty straightforward. You just squeeze it as you roll the chain. I'm going to use the entire thing. The reason is because I have a ton of lube, a lot of ditty oil. You know, that seems to be a going theme with how I've been marketing these on Instagram is ditty oil. And last but not least, while you're picking up your tools, you might notice that you didn't do that. I completely forgot to do that, so I went ahead and quickly did it off camera. But it is, you know, that's a quick and easy job. I am gonna go take this on a test ride. I wanna see how well it does with speeds at like 80 miles an hour. Supposedly it's much more bearable. So hopefully I can ride it to work in the morning. You never know. Nice little wake up call. Monday morning wake up call for the neighbors. So I'll be right back.
One eternity later.
I have now ridden the bike a couple dozen miles. You know, I don't put a lot of miles on any of my stuff besides the X5, but I have ridden it a lot. And boys, when I tell you guys, and dudettes, when I tell you guys that this thing is a night and day difference, I'm telling you right now, if you have the opportunity to upgrade your Honda Shadow VLX or VTX to the 38 tooth sprocket, new chain, and new front sprocket, it will feel like a new bike. I no longer get that weird pinging. I no longer get any of that weird feeling from doing highway speeds. If this video helped you at all, I would appreciate it if you guys would like, comment, and subscribe like you guys have been. I appreciate that, and I look forward to seeing you all in the next one.